and Ms. Vanessa Caime. For the BAC Secretariat, our head, Dr. Rolly Bayaban, Irish Presyon, Attorney John Bo Masigla.
Present.
Our minutes taker for today's meeting, Ms. G.K. Aniscol. And sir, also in attendance are other members of the BAC Secretariat as well as our observers from the COA, IAS, and the Procurement Division. That's all, Mr. Chair.
With the certification that we have a quorum, let's officially call this meeting to order. Secretariat, please, what are the agenda for today that we need to be discussing? Thank you.
Sir, our agenda for today, sir, is the discussion for Sir, is the discussion on the following projects. First is the provision of security services requirements for CAAP Area 4 under a 3-year service agreement in the amount of 54,309,400 pesos and 04 centavos. This will be presented by our technical working group from the CSIS, sir, Ms. Odessa Cortez.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, good morning. I will be presenting the on behalf of the technical working group. Sir, this project, the provision for security services requirements for CAAP Area Center 4 was initially posted last April 2023. And considering the timeline, I mean, the amount of time consumed for the procurement of these services, although there was already a MOA, which was a NOA, a notice of award, which was signed last May 19, 2021, the technical working group, Mr. Chair, deemed it necessary for the for these project to be canceled or to be declared as a failure, considering the length of time that used for this particular procurement. And we do not want, Mr. Chair, that we will be encountering any problems with the Commission on Audit, especially that it took us almost 2 years and 6 months to before the signing of the MOA, Mr. Chair. So with that, the technical working group, pursuant to the provision of Section 41 Reservation Clause of 9184 and its IRR, we are recommending that this procurement activity be declared as a failure of bidding due to non-compliance or failure to comply with the prescribed bidding procedures, Mr. Chair.
All right. Just some clarification for the benefit of the BAC membership, right? So you said that a notice of award has already been signed. Has it been signed by the Director General?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it was already signed, and a conforme was already given by the bidder, Mr. Chair, M. Sai.
And just for purposes of confirmation, under the rules on procurement, is it still legal? Is it still possible and doable to cancel the contract even after a notice of award with the necessary concurrence of the contractor, or in this case, service provider? Is that still legal, legitimate, and in order under the procurement law, Attorney Frank?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it is still legally possible to cancel the notice of award, considering that we have not yet entered into a contract with them. And under the reservation clause, Mr. Chair, Section 41, it states here that the Hope reserves the right to reject any and all bids declared a failure of bidding or not award a contract in the following situations. And that falls under letter B if the BAC found to have failed the following prescribed bidding procedure. And considering that the project is still under procurement, we have not yet entered into a contract with them, then the reservation clause is still applicable.
Attorney Frank, you read the provisions, and I trust that the provisions are read in verbatim. Can you read again the preliminary portions stating that the hope can choose not to award the contract? Is that it? Is that the you read something about that?
Uh, I, I, I will read in verbatim, Mr. Chair, the exact preliminary statement. The hope reserves
Just
the
sorry
right.
for this legal calisthenics. I just want to advise the membership of why we're doing this, and considering that it took 2 years and then the notice of award was signed no less by the Director General last May. We just want to make sure that everything is in order. Yes, please go ahead, Attorney Frank.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, um, Section 41 Reservation Clause. The hope reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract in the following situations. Letter A, if there's a prima facie evidence of collusion between blah blah blah, and
That's okay, Attorney
yeah,
Frank, that's okay. I just want the preliminary portion because nothing in there that specifically mentions that the hope can still cancel. It's not specific. That's why we want you to explain to us the basis of the TWG for its recommendation. But it says there that the hope can cancel can not reject the bidding, right, or declare it a failure, and then choose not to award. Tama? Ayan, yan. Thank you for flashing section 41. Reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract in the following situations. But you said that there is already a notice of award. That I'm presuming that you're reading it separately, that the notice of award is separate and different from the execution of the contract. Is that
that's
it?
correct, Mr. Chair.
Right. And that you are considering the declaration of failure of bidding in such that awarding the contract is different from the execution of the contract as well. Because there is notice of award, but you're saying that as far as timelines go, the portion on the declaration of failure of bidding is still availing because there is still no contract. Is that correct, Attorney Frank?
That is correct, Mr. Chair. And in accordance with the prescribed provisions, I mean, prescribed timeline as well, Mr. Chair, as indicated in Annex C of the revised implementing rules and regulation, the procurement activity ends up to the issuance of the notice to proceed. So, having said that, still the the uh, the project is still with under procurement, and the hope may still opt to invoke the reservation clause or cancel the issuance of the I mean not to proceed with a notice of award due to uh, the cited reason, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So the hope is still within its right or his
Yes,
right to invoke Section 41 reservation clause upon the recommendation, of course, of this committee, to which
ye-
we will be, adopting the recommendation of the TW. That is yet to be seen after this further discussion. And I understand there are several issues that cropped up. That is why we're here on this stage, that we're going to use the reservation clause, right? Because there is a problem with the end user. I mean, there is a problem raised by the end user, or is it purely a bidding procedure, non-compliant, so to speak? Is that tama ba yun, Attorney Frank?
apart from non-compliance with the timeline, Mr. Chair, the end user also has previously raised some questions on the technical compliance of the bidder.
All right. Okay. Attorney Frank, just another clarification, just for purposes of for the peace of mind of the BAC membership, because we're duty bound also to inquire and ask searching questions before we make any decisions, right? As much as I want to do away with long procedures and discussions, I just want to make sure that there will be no gaps, there will be no stoppage insofar as security services are concerned. I understand that it is an option for the management to extend the security contract of whoever or whichever or whatever the service provider is in any affected areas. But I also understand that under procurement law, the procurement process should have been uh, starting already before you award any extension of contract, right? Extension ba tama ba yung legal term ko, extension ba or renewal? Extension, right?
Extension, Mr. Chair.
Right. So this is an extension. Okay. Tama ba yon, Attorney Frank? Is that a correct assumption on our part? This is already considered as the procurement process that is required by law before any extensions can be granted.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right. So okay. So I hope the BAC members are now that we are made aware of the circumstances surrounding, no less than our procurement expert in the entirety of Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, Attorney Frank Edward and Attorney Irish. So I hope that clarifies. Please proceed, Secretariat and TWG. Thank you very much for bearing with us.
Mr. Chair, the technical working group now is recommending for the head of, head of the procuring entity to invoke Section 41, a reservation clause, and the eventual cancellation of this procurement activity.
What is the official recommendation, right? Can you flash the recommendation so that we can, anyway, if there are none, any comments from members, from the end user? These formal motions on the recommendation.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. Is
Okay.
that Colonel Maglake?
Okay. May I move for the adoption of the recommendation of the technical working groups invoking Section 41, which is the reservation clause, for the declaration of failure leading for areas 4, 6, and 9.
All right. There's a motion to declare, to adopt the recommendation of the TWG to declare the failure of bidding on the basis of Section 41. Talking about here.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Sir Elmer.
Yes, I second the motion with the recommendation of Colonel Maglake. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Elmer. But just to point of clarification, Attorney Frank, which areas are we discussing?
We initially discussed, Mr. Chair, for Area Center 3, but for Area Center 4, but for Area Center 6 and 7, they are similarly situated, Mr. Chair. I mean, they were bidded at the same time.
So we're now passing on Area Center 4. Sorry, you're cutting off. I don't know if it's me or it's my connection or it's you. I don't know. So we're discussing Area Centers 4, 6,
and 9, Mr. Chair.
And 9. And I understand that this is concerning one service provider.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Eagle Matrix, correct?
Eagle Matrix Security Agency.
All right. Before we pass upon an Attorney Frank, just want to make sure and ask the end extend the contract, right? Colonel Hill, can you ask that? Can you answer
As part of our contingency,
what would be the contingencies? Are we going to extend the contract of Eagle Matrix for Area Centers 4, 6, and 9?
That is correct, Mr. Chair, until such time that we're able to find a new service provider. We recommend for the extension of the contract. That's for our plan A.
Sorry, again, hindi ko alam kung ako yung nagka-cut off, but I'm not hearing the
Okay.
end user.
Okay. I am affirming, Mr.
Frank,
Chair.
Irish, ako lang ba yun? Malinaw ba kayo dyan?
Yes, sir. Okay naman po si Sir Hill.
Uh, uh, Mr. Chair, I'm reiterating and I'm affirming that as part of our contingency plan, we will extend the contract of the current provider until such time that the new service provider is determined by the BAC-Security.
Sir, nawala po si Attorney Dan.
I think nag-reconnect lang po si Boss.
Clear naman tayo? So,
Yes, sir. We can hear you, Sir Hill.
Ulitin ko na lang siguro. Pag-ano. Chair? Mr. Chair?
Yes, yes,
Ah,
Sir
yeah.
Hill, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay. I am affirming my previous statement that as part of our contingency plan as end user, we will be extending the contract of the current security provider until such time that a new service provider is determined for this, for areas 4, 6, and 9. Nagpuli sila. Yeah.
You're
Mr. Chair?
still cutting off, sir. Hindi ko maintindihan.
I'm still, we have a contingency plan na, Mr. Chair. We will extend the services of the current provider until a new service provider is determined by BAC-Security.
Okay, sir. Are the documents already written or unable to compensate them on time? That causes delays in compensations and salaries as well of their security guards. Baka lang bumalik sa atin at it will not be good for the organization and the authority if they are providing service continuously, yet we are unable to pay them their dues. So I understand the issues would be related as well to the documentations, extensions of contracts. I understand also that the Office of the Director General has some reservations before, but considering that this has already been extensively discussed here under BAC-Security, maybe we can ask already the Office of the Director General, the DG, to sign the extension contracts after legal clearance is provided by our ELS. Right? Can we do that, end user?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We'll
Thank
see
you.
to it
Thank
that
you.
they be paid on time based on the document requirements needed in the processing of their billing statement.
Yes, sir. Please, let's do that so that it will not get out of hand like what happened in other jurisdictions.
Okay. I should
Thank you for the help, Cornelio.
Thank you.
Okay. So, all right. There's a motion to cancel because there's no contract, to declare failure of bidding for the security service provision in area centers 4, 6, and 9 using and invoking section 41 of the procurement law reservation clause. There's a motion and duly seconded. The motion is considered carried. This is just for adoption of the recommendation of the technical working group. It's also provided for and recommended by the end user. Thank you very much, Attorney Frank, Attorney Irish. Any further items on our agenda? Let's proceed, if any.
Mr. Chair, considering that we already declared
Yes, Attorney Frank.
considering that we already declared a failure bidding for area centers 4 and 9, if the BAC would allow and for us to process expediently the procurement of these two projects, we can present now we can have the pre-procurement of these two projects, Mr. Chair, so that we can, in order for us to post and to proceed with the procurement.
Okay, go ahead, Attorney Frank. Let's proceed with the pre-procurement for possible posting if there are no more comments. Thank you, Attorney Frank.
May I request Ma'am Odeng, Engineer Odessa Cortez, please, to present. Thank you, Ma'am Odeng.
Thank you. Um, nakikita na po after everyone.
Yes po.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm here to present the details regarding the provision of security services requirement under 3-year service agreement for areas 4 and 9. Mr. Chair, in the interest of time, I will only be presenting the requirements of each areas based on the site or the airport's facilities to be deployed, the manpower and equipment, and also the schedule of activities under its deliverables. Other requirements is already discussed and approved during the previous meeting po. For Area Center 4, the approved budget for the first year only is 22,078,305.84. The following are the CAAP airports and facilities wherein the PSA guard shall be deployed as shown. For the manpower requirements, for Area 4, we have 41 guard posts requiring 107 security guards. For the work shift schedule, they will have an 8-hour rotational shift. For the equipment requirements as shown, for firearms and ammunition as shown po, for the communication equipment, and motor-powered vehicles. For the other security equipment as shown, and for the standard individual uniform and equipment of guards. Lastly, the schedule of activities for from the submission to the actual deployment as shown. For the breakdown or for clarity purposes, the breakdown of the ABC for the salaries and wages, the agency fee, and the 12% VAT. And as discussed last meeting, the item number 5 was already corrected for the certification under oath attesting its prompt payment of wages and benefits of the security guard. That's all for Area 4. I will proceed to Area 9. The ABC for the project is 41,338,281.72. Shown the following CAAP airports and facilities where the PSA guard shall be deployed. For Area 9, we have 10 sites. And for the manpower requirements, Area 9, for Area 9, we have 65 guard posts requiring 209 security guards. Same with the Area 4, the work shift schedule will be 8-hour rotational work shift. And as shown, the requirements for equipment, firearms and ammunition, for the communication equipment, the motor-powered vehicles or transportation equipment, other security equipment, and the standard individual uniform and equipment of guards, and the schedule of activities. For the breakdown of the ABC, for salaries and wages, for agency fee, and the 12% back. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Kailangan mention yun eh. Bakit wala yung
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Go ahead, Attorney Frank.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, considering that the bid documents that we used for these two items, which Mr. Chair are already template documents, and these were already previously approved by the BAC. So the technical working group hereby recommends that the security services provision for security services requirement under 3-year service agreement for area centers 4 and 9 be posted, Mr. Chair.
Just I'll just make a manifestation, not actually a manifestation, but a clarification. And we need confirmation from the TWG and the Secretariat. Previously, during our, I think, 2 meetings, there were corrections, there were recommendations on the documents, bid documents, and the requirements. There were additions, intercalations that were suggested and recommended not only by the end user but the other members. In this particular draft that we are recommending for posting, have they been incorporated already?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we already considered the comments and suggestions during the previous
Alright.
meetings.
The particulars that are required to be added, the revisions, the clarifications, and making sure that the mandatory remittances, right? They were all here.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
They are all here. Okay, thank you. With that confirmation, may we hear any motion on the recommendation of the technical working group?
Through the chair, may question lang po.
Mr. Chair, also I have a question. Ma'am
Go
Joyce,
ahead,
kayo
go ahead.
muna.
Ma'am Joyce, please, and then
Yes.
Sir Elmer.
Yes po, sir. Sir, ang bidding po is good for 3 years agreement. Ang question ko, sir, kung nag-propose po ba sa budget ang end user for multi-year budget authority po?
Right, good question. Colonel Hill, please, because this is a multi-year, 3 years contract, but renewable every year, right? So there has to be a multi-year budget allocated for these particular contracts in order for us to be able to award. Colonel Hill, please, end user.
Mr. Chair, may I
Yes,
request that Ms. Udeng respond with regards to this question.
yes, go ahead.
Meron kami pong kasi yung budget po natin, Ma'am Joyce, is for 1 year. So, the budget for every year, hindi po siya multi-year yung ang sinasubmit namin sa budget. Per year po na allocation ng budget po. Kasi since kanina po yung ABC na pinresent ko, ma'am, is for 1 year. So every yearly lang po yung budget niya, ma'am. Although the contract is a multi-year contract, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank
To
you
the
for that.
chair.
Go ahead,
Opo.
Ma'am Joyce. I know medyo may mali doon sa sinabi ni Odeng. So, can you clarify, Ma'am Joyce?
Yes po, sir. I suppose, sir, hindi po tayo pwedeng makipag-contract for multi-year kung yung budget po natin is good only for 1 year. We cannot guarantee po yung another next 2 years po.
Right. That is also, thank you for raising that up. Medyo red flag yun to the end user because precisely why we have a multi-year contract. Otherwise, you're going to have to enter into a 1-year contract and you will not mention in any way that there is a 3-year contract renewable every year. O, kasi the budget allocation, the certification that the AFS will be stamping on the contract would have to certify that there is budget for the next 3 years, even if the renewal is only good for on a per year basis. So, Ma'am Joyce, ano pwede natin gawin in order for us to further stall this requirement?
Sa ngayon sir, actually hindi pa naman na po a-approve yung budget. Habol sa nasa ano.
But the budget is due to be presented
O
tomorrow,
yun nga
right?
eh. Ang mangyari kung hindi talaga, ano lang sir, per year lang yung contract natin. Ano na lang siguro, ay hindi ko alam sir kung i-renew kung 1 year lang eh. 1 year lang
No.
talaga po.
1 year lang, tapos rebid ka uli. Ganun ang
Opo.
mangyayari. Okay. Security, sorry to say this, but that's your lookout. Di ba meron tayong mga budget calls na ginagawa? And there were memorandums issued on how to request budget concerning multi-year. Ma'am Joyce, na-advise ba natin ang different end users on how to do this? Because I understand in ADMS, in ANS, they do multi-year contracts and they also request multi-year budget. So,
Yes
kung
sir, alam
hanggang
po nila
2025
yun.
yun, hindi mo sinasama sa budget yung for the next 2 years for 2022, but there is an allocation and there is a mention that this is a multi-year contract. Therefore, the budget is already provided for the next 2 years, even if the budget if the contract is renewable on a yearly basis. So, what do we do now?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, Odeng.
We have previous contract, sir, na ano po na multi-year, for example yung na-bid natin, sir, for Area 5. And hindi po kami na-require na ano, sir, na kailangan pong multi-year yun. For Area 5 po kasi existing natin ngayon. Hindi rin kami nag-request ng multi-year budget. But
Kailan yun?
implemented, sir.
Kailan yung contract?
2020 po.
2020?
2020. Yes, sir. 3-year contract siya, sir. Monthly yung ano niya, sir. Yearly yung budgeting niya, sir. That's
Ma'am
all.
Joyce, tingnan mo nga, Ma'am Joyce, kung paano kasi para ma-post na natin. But I agree with you, Ma'am Joyce, based on the multi-year contracts entered into by other authority. For instance, I sit in the MIA board. Yung ginagawa nila doon, yung budget nila, pag pinapa-approve nila, naka-certify that there's a multi-year budget for this for 3 years. Pero ang budget mo for 2021, yun lang gagamitin mo sa 2021. Right? Sir Hill, Ma'am Joyce, paano ito? How do you want, what would be the recommendation? Because I'm inclined already to actually, for purposes of expediting the procurement of our security services, publish this already and post this, but subject of course dun sa internal mechanisms on accounting, on budgeting, especially on multi-year. Ma'am Joyce?
Sir, ang akin po, ihabol na po na lang din yung amount. Sabi nyo nga po, hindi naman natin pinapa-approve yung yung 23-24. So, a matter of information lang na meron tayong gagawing multi-year contract. Yung budget po for 2022, okay na po yun. So, mag-amend lang kami sir sa presentation.
Alright, sige. I think that's a good compromise as long as we follow the regular accounting and internal auditing mechanism. There won't be any problem. We just have to make sure that this is public funds. There are series of tedious processes that we need to comply with, and let's do that. But for purposes of this procurement, let's proceed. Pero si Sir Elmer meron pang question may clarification pa. Ma'am Joyce,
Yes.
okay ka na? Can I give it to Sir Elmer na?
Yes po sir, ano na lang po, bigay na lang ni Miss Odenyo sa amin yung kailangan na hindi lang, for all area centers kung yun ang i-contract po for 3 years.
Yeah.
Apo.
Thank you. Thank you,
sir.
Ma'am Joyce. Sir Hill, go ahead.
Thank you for the assistance, Ma'am Joyce.
Welcome po sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Hill. Thank you, Ma'am Joyce. Sir Elmer, go ahead, please. Your clarification.
Yes, Mr. Chair, clarification lang po dun sa amount ng ABC. I was just wondering before the one that we are talking before, for area 4 is 54 and now it's 22, and now for area 9, I think it's 22, it's 41. Is there any changes in the amount? Because area 4 is 54,000 before, the one that we are talking with. And now it's 22. It's go down to 22. Is there any reduce in the ABC for the end user?
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
yung tama pong amount is 22. Pa-check na lang po sa secretariat kung saan yung nakuha yung 44.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Kindly
if
check.
I may,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Attorney Irish.
just for clarification, sir, Ms. Odeng, Area 4 is 54 million.
No ma'am, 22 million po.
22.
22 po.
Okay. That's
Apologies, sir. We will make the necessary changes po in our documents, sir.
And area 9 is 41, Odeng? Because it's 22
Yes, sir.
previous. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Nagkabaligtad.
Gabalik.
Parang ganun.
Okay, medyo
Yes,
nalito lang ako. Kasi
41
biglang bumaba yung amount eh. That's from
Our
22
apologies
to
po for the
22,000.
confusion.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Thank you for the
Thank
clarification.
you
And
po.
also, is the amount that is being requested for 3 years is for 3 years? The 22 is for 3 years?
Yes, sir.
Hindi, 1 year lang, di ba, Odeng? Hindi 3 years.
Is that
Ah,
1
1 year lang yan, sir. 1 year
Okay,
contract.
so 1
1
year.
year lang, 1 year.
Because
So it's times 3.
it's 3 times 3. Okay.
Oo.
Thank you for the clarification.
May escalation clause ba? Maganda yung tanong ni Sir Elmer. Papunta na doon sa next question. You mean if I may still add some
Yes,
clarifications
Mr. Chair.
and queries. May ano ba yan? May escalation ba yan? O standard yan? And it's linear, meaning 22 for first year, 22 for second year, and 22 for third year. Meron ba yung changes?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond to that. Yes, we have escalation clause considering na kung may changes dun sa mga labor rates or magkakaroon din ng changes sa contract amount.
Yeah, but only on the mandated labor wage increase by this. Di ba meron silang sariling wage policy board that dictates how much
Yes, sir.
per area, and it is not standard for the entirety of the country. It has to be vetted on a per area basis. That we can understand, and of course there should be a necessary and pertinent budget for that. But is there an admin fee that would increase annually as you renew the contract? None.
Wala pa, sir.
Thank you.
Sa POR po natin, wala po, sir.
Wala. For the next 3 years. Yeah, right. I would assume. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So any other questions? All right. If none, can I hear any motion? May motion na ba kanina? Wala pa, di ba? All right. Can I hear any motion, please?
Mr. Chair. Okay.
Yes. Sir Gil.
Okay, we'll move for the posting of the project procurement for areas 4 and 9.
4, 6, and 9, di ba, sir? O 4 and 9
6,
lang?
Mr. Chair, 6 was discussed in view that it will require a board approval.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yung cancellation board. Okay. All right. Okay. Because, Attorney Frank, ang ginawa natin, hinati natin per year, hindi natin minultiply by 3. Kasi if you multiply by 3, lahat ito magiging
That's correct, sir.
magiging for board. And what is our justification why we divided the contract into 3 insofar as the cut-off for board presentation is concerned? Because annual budget.
Because of the budget, Mr. Chair, annual budgeting that
Alright.
the CSI employed for
And
this.
that is our regular policy and procedure, right?
That's
Okay.
correct, sir.
Thank you. All right. So there's a motion to adopt the recommendation of the TWG for posting of the TOR for the security services for area centers 4 and 9. Can I hear any second to that motion?
Second, sir.
Thank you, Ma'am Joy. So there's a motion duly seconded, subject of course to the internal controls and mechanisms on accounting and auditing. The motion is hereby carried. for posting of area centers 4 and 9 POR for security services. Thank you. Secretariat, next items, please, if any.
Sir, we have no other matters, sir. However, the Secretariat would like to remind that our next meeting will be on Friday, 9 a.m., sir, for the submission of the bids for the negotiated procurement for Bicol International Airport, sir.
Okay. All right. Sige, I have a MIA aboard, but I will be able to attend the 9 a.m. meeting. Thank you. Last minute comments, additions, manifestations, all right? I hear none from the members. TWG Secretariat, I see none.
None
Attorney
from
Frank,
us. None from us, Mr. Chair.
thank you. Attorney Irish from the Secretariat.
From the Secretariat, sir.
Thank you very much again. Thank you for attending. Thank you to the members. Ma'am Joyce,
To the
you're going
chair
to say
pala,
something?
yes sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Hingian ng CBA po, Certificate of Budget Allocation for 3 years po yung yung project.
Yeah. Okay. Please be advised of the requirement of
Noted, ma'am.
our finance chief. Okay.
Noted end user.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the end user, to the members, TWG Secretariat. Until Friday. Let's meet again on Friday. Stay safe, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.